Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Kayla. I am a spiritual mentor and psychic channel. Welcome to our reading today. I am using the Ostera Tarot deck, which was my first deck and still remains my favorite, though I have love for all of my decks. If you have been called to this video, then this is most likely for you, but I always invite you to use your discernment and your intuition. And as always, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Sometimes it may not resonate now in this moment, but later on you'll be reminded of what came up and as it pertains to that situation. So I ask that you listen with an open heart and an open mind. So to begin, I'm going to call in the collective's guides who are of the highest good, integrity 9 and above, just to come in and assist with this message. Give us what this collective drawn to this video needs to hear in the moment that they find it. I always set the intention that my readings are timeless, so no matter when this is finding you, if it resonates, take it. Awesome. I was called to my smoky quartz. I have 2 of them here that I've recently acquired, and I have my coffee here as well. So perhaps you have a beverage. I am also using my great-grandmother's silk handkerchief as my tarot cloth, my tablecloth here. But I feel like ancestors are just pertinent, perhaps to you or perhaps to this reading, perhaps just to me. So this first card here is Death. It is appearing to me in the reverse, and I do love the Death card here in this deck. It has a disembodied skull and almost like a separated hand, almost like thing is what I'm thinking of. And then there's also rib cage, some vines with leaves. It looks like a branch of a tree as well as spine. That's very interesting. The spine is reminding me of Kundalini and the Kundalini practices, which is something that do not pursue if you do not have a really firm foundation of grounding and being able to just connect and control and have that sovereignty over your own energy. But the Kundalini is it's very interesting. It is and it isn't associated with death because it is something that encourages a renewal of self. And I feel like especially in these times that we are at collectively, there is a constant renewing of the self. Lots of mini deaths, lots of small realizations, whether that's ego deaths, whether that's dropping habits to pick up something else, whether it's disconnecting from certain ideals or beliefs that society has pushed on you, right? So let's see as we continue what that death in reverse brings up for us. And this is the 9 of Cups. One of my absolute favorite in this deck. She's cozied up with these giant cats, resting. And she's in front of a fireplace. She has teacups kind of scattered all over, but you can tell like she's well cared for. She has that peace and that safety to fully rest. And rest is really important for that integration. If you have been going through these tiny deaths or really going through a lot of shadow work, operating within new ways, reworking your belief system and your subconscious, this rest is going to be vital. This is the integration phase. No matter how much work we do within our energetic body or within our subconscious mind, it is so important to have that integration phase and that rest, that ability to allow that to integrate and to become fully embodied. Because when we push, and we're, either working on our awakening, working on healing, but where it's healing, instead of healing, rest, and acclimate, we'll reach certain amounts of burnout. And that can happen energetically as well. Our physical body needs that time to truly integrate. So when you're doing your healing work, balance that with caring for your physical and just being human. the human things. That's what I always say. What else is this collective in need of at the moment? Eight of Wands. In this, it's represented by an eagle with the like twigs or the wands coming out of the heart space. It's really interesting because as I was about to pull this card out, I heard this collective is putting off certain responsibilities, and it feels very much like these are energetic responsibilities. Perhaps you're one that, you came here with a purpose to be in this time at this, juncture in society. Or perhaps it's just related to you and the small bubble of people around you, whether you're family lineage. But you've been assigned a task, and that is really going to be personal to each of you, but I find a lot of times that it is to first learn how to manage and work with your energy. But then as that continues to grow and you become more and more confident in that ability, it ripples out and affects those within your immediate circle, but the collective as a whole as well. Right now, we need earth healers. Those who are willing to go into meditation and bring that healing energy down through you, for you, yes, but then to share it with Mother Gaia and the collective, and to just allow that healing energy to create new neural pathways for the collective. And that Eight of Wands very well may be looking at the ways that you've been holding yourself back. Perhaps that is just some limiting beliefs, some resistance, whatever it may be. Just looking at what's holding you back and very gently allowing it to no longer have that grip on you. It doesn't necessarily mean it is cut away completely, but it means that you're bringing more balance into, okay, I want to come more into alignment with my higher purpose, rather than the human's resistance, right? And so when we're able to bring these two things more into balance, it's a lot easier for us to hold that duality. Duality is not a negative thing. It's what we come here to experience. But then it will become easier if these things do come out of whack to bring them back into balance, and perhaps even continue to work on those limiting beliefs and the shadow work, as I feel like you have already been doing. That shadow work, sometimes it comes in subtle ways, and you may not even be realizing the depth of the work that you've been doing, because at this point I feel like it's become second nature. And so your spirit team is coming in and really saying, like, it's okay to rest, it's okay to integrate, but it's also okay to create small moments of joy. The phrase I heard was create the, what is it called? The little death, little moments of pleasure, little moments where you can really connect with yourself and continue to like bolster your spirit. And that's going to be really important, just in general always, but especially moving forward as you become more and more in tune with what you're meant to share with this world. What else for this collective here? The Hierophant, it is in the reverse. Perhaps you've been putting a little bit too much focus on your human reality as opposed to your inner spiritual authority. In this deck, it's represented with a book. A lot of times I read that as the Akashic. Many of us are more closely associated with the Akashic records than we realize. There are specific modalities to access them, but I've found that my spirit team has almost a back door where they have shown me anytime I'm like, oh, maybe I should take a course. They're like, please don't. You're overcomplicating it. A lot of you may have access to at least your Akashic records in a very simple way where you can sit in meditation and just ask to receive the book that is needed for you right now. But a little more focused on your spiritual authority. Where can you give yourself those small moments? Perhaps it is sitting with your tea in almost a mini meditation where you're sipping your tea consciously. Five of Wands also in reverse. In this card, it's depicted as two snakes with two heads. One snake with two heads going in opposing directions. A lot of times this can be conflict, but with it coming up in the reverse here, especially under the Nine of Cups, I'm just feeling that this is perhaps that resistance. Perhaps your spirit has been telling you, like, it's okay to rest, it's okay to let go, it's okay to pour into yourself and not give so much attention to the outside world or to others. But the way that you have been brought up, your upbringing, perhaps you're an older daughter, maybe you are a former people pleaser, maybe you were just had so much care and love for others that you didn't know how to balance that with that care and love for yourself. And so this feels like that resistance to, okay, I can see what I need to do, but my human is still having resistance because I'm still working through those beliefs. I'm still rewiring my nervous system. That's okay. Just continue to be gentle with yourself in this process. Lovers. It did fall out to me in the reverse. And that's the advice that is for this inner conflict, that inner resistance. The Lovers, even in reverse, it's showing there's a little bit of imbalance within the masculine and feminine aspects, or even if you don't really resonate with those terms, just the, that makes sense. Okay. A little bit of imbalance within the action and the rest, right? That's what this whole reading is about. A little bit of imbalance within the action and the rest. And so this resistance will begin to dissipate, and you'll have a lot more just ease and control over that. You'll be able to overcome that resistance a lot easier when you are allowing that action and rest to be in equal parts. Now, within our physical world, that could be an hour of work equals an hour of play and rest. But depending on the work that you're doing, especially if it's energetic, the push doesn't always equal time, right? And so if you have an hour meditation where you're really doing a lot of energy work, a lot of clearing especially, this rest phase may be 2 or 3 days where you're doing the salt baths and really caring and nurturing for your physical self and just allowing yourself to reflect on what came up in that meditation. I'm going to ask for 1 or 2 final cards as closing. Interesting. They were already flipped up. So we have the Ten of Cups and the Six of Swords. So the Ten of Cups is represented by a couple standing. It appears in the ocean. There's some glowing jellyfish behind them, and then they have like the cups, almost like Ariel's treasure down here. And they are wrapped within a octopus arm. And in another card in the deck, the octopus represents like the paternal safety and security, like that masculine protection. The true, genuine, divine masculine protection. And then the Six of Swords is showing that even though you're perhaps at the midpoint of your journey, a lot of the really heavy lessons have been learned already. And so we can't fully see where we're headed, where there's still not a lot of clarity. The background is foggy, but there's not as many challenges. And so at this point in the journey, the card describes what you may be facing as like, is it worth it to continue? Is it easier to go back? Is it beneficial to continue to push forward? And this is where your spirit team is coming in and saying, like, it's okay to rest in the boat. It's okay to lay down the paddle for a short time. It's okay to allow the fatigue in your muscles to recover, and then pick that oar up again and continue on your journey, because even if you cannot see it, it is worth it. And I believe the Ten of Cups there is what is being represented. It is not only the balance within that rest and action, that feminine and masculine, but it is also, the cups are a promise of fulfilling relationships, of always having your cup full, of not really needing to reach outside of yourself, because everything you need is within. And when you access that within, it's generated outside, right? Like, that's how manifestation works. And then that glowing light that's coming down from the corner and shining on them. That is just, I feel like, the alignment with source, your higher purpose, your higher self, however you want to feel phrase that. But it feels very much as if the end goal, the purpose of these lessons and all the things that you have been learning recently is truly to bring that inner balance. Oh, I just noticed within this that they're both blindfolded as well. And so faith, Spirit is saying, have faith that things are going to come to completion as they are, I'm sorry, what was that phrase again? These lessons will come to completion in their own time. There is no need to push. What's most important is for you to stay in connection and in alignment with yourself. So when you feel like you are giving or pushing too much or too hard, fall into that rest, fall into that receiving mode, because Source is always there to guide you. Whether you're calling upon your higher self, your spirit team, even deities that you're working with, they're here to guide and assist you. And because you take a break or take that time to rest and integrate, or even to align with simple pleasures, they're not going to abandon you. There is the human concept of like stopping and losing opportunities doesn't exist. These opportunities are yours, and they're going to continue to be there for you. You have overcome a lot. I feel like that's really important. There's a couple of wands here, there's a couple of cups, but then these are all major arcana. What do we have? We have 2 wands, 2 cups, a sword, and then 3 major arcana. These are major lessons that you've had to learn on your path, and they have not been easy. And you have done a terrific job. There's a lot of pride and support available to you. I don't want to promise that the journey will become easier, but I feel like you will become more skilled and more adept at navigating. So today, give yourself whatever you need to nurture your body and your soul. Perhaps create that small pleasure ritual for yourself. And I will see you next time. Thank you for being here.